Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the RAM cycle. Looking up here on GIJoe.com, what we have is the classic RAM cycle that we were introduced to back in 19. What was it? Box Cobra Flight Pod. It says back in 2008. Although to me, it looks like it's something that should have been out a lot longer. Um, Okay, so this came with the driver slash pilot, Corporal Breaker. Now, let's see here. We're going to kind of look at this. So this, to me, I could have swore they did this back in the 2000 or back in the 80s. I don't know why this seems like this needs to be back in the 80s. I know that they had come out with a different, like a different kind of sled motorcycle or whatever. Um, but to me, this should be back in the 80s. It has kind of an 80s ish look to it. Um, this is not a newer style motorcycle. So this has to me, this just screams 1980s. And of course, we have a kind of sidecar with a minigun in there. I don't know if in the original toy, because I'm saying this because I do have the Tiger Patrol 6-inch uh, classified series scale version of this, and we can actually take the minigun out. Now, I don't know if you're able to take this out in the original 3 3/4 inch scale figure line, but a very interesting concept. Just how things are done. I think this is something that they should have used a lot more. Um, because it looks like something that would kind of fit in, and you could always change this pod out for some other gun series, or even just left it off entirely, and then you just have this motorcycle that they can run around in. Um, and to me, that would make a lot of sense. I keep thinking of GI Joe as a rapid response team. I guess I'm hoping that this makes any sense to everybody else. Kind of like what we do with the Navy SEALs or whatever else. Something that if you're going to drop it, you're going to drop it real fast, and then you're just going to go and take off. Um, and of course, this is going to be the 2008 box. I could swear that this had come out a lot sooner, but they're saying 2008, 2000. Aha, see, I am right. 1982 is when it originally came out. So I am right there. Okay, so my mind isn't completely gone. Um, but then it was reboxed and everything else. So we have three versions: just the RAM Cycle, and a more desert version of the RAM Cycle. So um, wonderful, wonderful bike and everything else. Um, we have a file card here. These lightning fast, rapid fire motorcycles have Gatling guns mounted on their sidecars for ground attacks that are swift and serious. A turbocharged engine gives them incredible speed, and they have ultra quick response time. So it takes a highly experienced and really daring driver to operate them at top speed. In the middle of a chaotic battle, Staff Sergeant Rock and Roll used the RAM cycle to attack Cobra Island to rescue kidnapped scientist Dr. Burkhart, and they often deployed to defend the GI Joe base perimeters. So here we are. We had Rock and Roll using these. Now, Rock and Roll is another one of those characters that I think when he was originally introduced, he had the M60, and then he had gotten twin Gatling guns, and he was partially deaf. Was part of the file card on him as well. Very interesting how they added those little flavors in there to sit here and try and have people understanding the ideas behind this. And Rock and Roll was also a Californian and a big surfer. So the things that they came up with to help everybody get some feeling behind the characters and in the equipment that we got to see on a daily or weekly basis when we were growing up, or when I was growing up. I know I'm getting old. And, you know, it's why this stuff kind of pulls on the heartstrings of so many of us as adults. So when we then take this and then we move this over to being in our Star Wars role playing game, or if you want to, put this in anything else, coming from our schematics and everything else, this I put this at a speeder scale because the only other scale we can go down to would be personnel scale. Obviously, having some steel in that, I figure it's going to have a little bit more rigidity than our soft flesh. It is 7 feet long, has a crew of 1, passengers of 0. Cargo capacity is going to be roughly about 50 kilograms. We do have the saddlebags on here, and I gave it about a half coverage. So, of course, this is going to be running on the ground. Maneuverability, I figured roughly about a 2D. We can go about 95 miles per hour, and I believe that came from the file card itself. Body strength, I gave it a little less body strength. I mean, not an overly tough one, but I gave it a 2D. And of course, we have the heavy repeating blaster, which is where I'm centering all this stuff on, because if I'm saying a ship crash land onto a Earth type planet and kind of changes things, and then they reverse engineer stuff to make what we have, like a GI Joe Force and a Cobra antagonizers. So our heavy repeating blaster being front scale at being facing in the front at speeder scale, if I can properly say things today. Now I gave it a fire control of 1D because really you're steering the motorcycle. So trying to aim and steer it is going to be a little bit of a feat here, at least in my mind. And then I gave it a 7D for damage. So I believe the minigun that they're going to be using is going to be using the 7.62. So I think 7D is going to be seeing as it's going to have a high rate of fire, I think 7D is worth it. Definitely a little bit more powerful than what the standard rifle is going to be or whatever. That's my take on it. Plus, at high volume of fire. If you think it should be up or down or wherever, hey, let me know in the comments. But this is the thing that I had kind of come up with, the idea and the reasoning behind it, right? Saying yes, in today's military, we're using, in the United States, we're using the M16. I know in most of the NATO countries, we are using the same 5.56 caliber round. This 5.56 millimeter. So, which really equates down to being a 223. Now your 7.62, which is our bigger caliber, that was widely used back in World War II, and that equates to the United States 308 hunting round. So the differences between the two of them. So you just kind of take it from there. Which one do you want to say is going to be your common round? If I'm going to say my 5.56 is the common round, and I say that that's a 5D, when we get up to the 7.62, I'd say maybe at a 6D, and if it's going to be a heavy repeating, maybe a 7. If you think it should be up a little bit more, we can always edit this and take it from there. This is the idea because, of doing this. Hey, I can share this with you, and if it's something you like, you can throw it into your own stuff. That's why I'm very pleased to bring all this to you, so you can see what I've created and take what you want and throw away what you don't. Let me know what you think. I'm not an expert. I've been running this type of a system for quite a while. Do I mess things up? Sure. But, it's just the fun of creating things. I always enjoy creating things. So to do this, even though, the chances are the guys are probably never going to play this. But who knows if they ever come along, and because I don't know if they ever really watch this. I don't sit here and promote this to everybody. I'd love to, but it's one of those things of, look, you find this, if you like it, subscribe and do all the stuff that we ask you to do. I hope that this becomes a big channel, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's all for fun, and that's the important part. At the end of the day, I'm just another goofball out here with a little channel, just trying to have fun on a daily basis and hopefully bring a smile to everybody. And that's all I can hope for. So, hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you're enjoying this series. We'll see you in the next video.